I breathe deep and grateful to be reminded of everything that has shown up when I can't find it on my own. We were a thunderstorm right out of nowhere. Light your eyes just right. See a relic of the rain that brought us here.
Ordinary Elephant on Radio Bristol, performing in the 3rd Street Coffeehouse studio. Welcome to Roanoke.
Thank you.
Crystal and Pete Damore with us, and the song we just heard, Relic of the Rain, is from your new self-titled album, and self-titled for a good reason, I think. A lot of personal songs on this record.
Yeah, it feels like it's just us. So it felt very like we had just have kind of come into who we are, or it feels like we've found our voices, and so it felt appropriate to call it who we are.
And that particular song, Relic of the Rain, is about your relationship, your marriage. And how do you get to the point that you can write something so personal and put it out there in the world?
I don't know. I guess it's interesting because I've always been I grew up a really shy kid and quiet person, and so I guess songwriting, it feels like the one way that I can speak and feel comfortable speaking to the world, and I don't know what it is that's different about that. I guess I've been so moved by songs and connected to that, and it just feels like a way that we can allow people to connect with us and with themselves, kind of connect with stories that may remind them of in their own lives.
I think that songwriting and songs in general, to us, we're both huge fans of songwriters, and it feels like if it doesn't mean anything, it's not the same. It's like there's dance music that's great too, but it's almost like if you're gonna write something important, it's in that way that's gonna touch people. It's gonna need to be vulnerable.
It needs to matter. Yeah, it needs to matter to us too.
Well, approaching the songwriting process, you have to do so with a critical eye, personally, and think, well, is this true? Is there truth in what I'm writing? And do you write something sometimes and you think, looking back at it, not so much?
That doesn't work. All the time.
Mostly.
Right. So much. And that's been a big lesson, I feel like, over the years, is coming to realize that it doesn't have to work. Like, you can write something and then no one ever has to see it, and that's okay. That's because it feels like, I think younger me, it felt like anything that's you're writing, like you're a little too precious about it. Like, oh, it's got to turn into something, be a thing. And like, it doesn't. That could just be a pathway to this other thing you're going to do.
And in connection with that, you always need someone around you who's able to reflect back and let you know if you're hitting the mark. And for 5 years, you guys had no particular address. You were on the road in the van all the time. How do you maintain a community of artists, songwriters that can let you know, hey, yeah, you're doing all right?
That's one of the toughest things of being on the road is keeping your community close. And I think the main way we were able to work at that was through an organization called Folk Alliance, which is this, they have a big conference every year, and then they have little regional conferences. We're about to go to the Southeast one this later this week. But we've met, songwriters and musicians through that organization that are our little beacons around the country, and we feel like, anytime we can call them up and say, hey, we're in the area, can we crash your driveway and maybe play a song or two. But
yeah, that's the first, when you asked that question, that was the first thing I thought of, was Folk Alliance, how it just creates this community for us throughout the country that is so valuable.
And do you have the opportunity to, say, drop into workshops along the way and do the whole, songwriting prompt thing and keep your skills sharpened?
Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah, we're in like songwriting groups, like monthly things where they're song prompts, and then we love doing songwriting workshops when we have the chance to. You can never not learn something from someone. It's not as if like, okay, now we know how to do that, and you never need to keep learning. So we're always looking for that.
Talking with Ordinary Elephant on Radio Bristol, Crystal and Pete Damore in the 3rd Street Coffeehouse studio in Roanoke. Their new album is self-titled Ordinary Elephant. I'm Luke Church. This new record produced by Dirk Powell, phenomenal songwriter, performer, and producer in his studio in Beaubridge, Louisiana. Had you guys worked together before, or was this like a bucket list thing? You really wanted him to produce an album for you?
We met Dirk in 2019 at Americana
Was it
Fest.
2019 or was it?
I think it was 19.
Okay. I was going to say, was that the same place we first met you? It was at Americana Fest. Yeah, we had played our showcase, and afterwards he was talking to some music journalist. I saw, just kind of saw him out of the corner of my eye, and I was going to get some water. And I heard him say that was a really beautiful set. I was like, there's no way he's talking to me. He's talking to this, big time music journalist. I'm just going to, no, there's no way. Go about the night, and then we go out the back door. We're at the Station Inn. Go out the back door, and he's sitting back there playing fiddle with Rhiannon Giddens, and so we just obviously stop with everyone else and like watch and listen. And after they finished the song they were playing, he turned, look at everybody, and he saw us, and he was like, "Hey, that was a really beautiful set." And I was like, "Okay, wait, there's no one behind us. Like he's obviously talking to us. Like what, So we're just so grateful that he had listened and took the time to say that, and so we followed up with an email, just, thanks for doing that. And he's like, oh, I've got this little studio down in Beaubridge. If, I think it would be a great fit for y'all if you ever want to come check it out. And so we went to check it out in February of 2020, right before, all that. And, and then we just kind of stayed in touch and
Wrote some songs.
And then, went into the studio once things started picking back up again. And, it's a this small little studio, old cypress wood, just a very cozy, wonderful place to make music. And, it was so lovely working with him.
Ordinary Elephant on Radio Bristol. Their new album is self-titled, I'm Luke Church. We're in the 3rd Street Coffeehouse studio in Roanoke, Virginia. Let's hear another song from this new album, I See You. Anything to say about this one before you perform it?
So this one is it's a song written to my future self. This past January made 2 years sober for me, and I started writing it kind of a few months into this whole journey.
I see you in the distance like a dream, like a dream, like a dream. I hear you in my head like a song I'm still learning to sing. Can't get the melody quite right. Got a splinter in my palm, sawdust in my eyes, and sweat on my skin.
Ordinary Elephant on Radio Bristol, performing a song from their new self-titled album. That one's called I See You. I'm Luke Church. Sparse instrumentation on this new record. You've got a guitar, octave mandolin, and banjo. And on one track, Dirk Powell, the producer, plays piano. And that's it. And you recorded live in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we perform live, at shows. It's just like around condenser microphones. And so it felt natural for us to record that way. And I mean, going into it, obviously, Dirk plays so many instruments and so well. And so all of our intention was, okay, maybe, we'll lay down our stuff, the core of it, and then we'll see what it wants. He'll probably add something. And then he listened to the mixes and or did some mixing and listened back to things. It was like, I can add things, but I don't know that it would add anything. He's like, I could do it, but it wouldn't. He's like, I feel like they're there. Like, this is what they are, And that was a little scary at first, because that wasn't the intention going in. But, having someone with ears like Dirk, that like he's a songwriter and this multi-instrumentalist and producer, and we just trust his judgment. And he's about the song and the performance and what the thing is, and if he feels like it's what it is and needs to be, then that's probably what it needs to be.
Another thing about Dirk that we've learned over the years knowing him is that he's just, the only thing he cares about is music. It seems like that is the most important thing to him. It doesn't matter, for what reason other than the music. So it feels like that's someone we could trust to guide us that way. Yeah.
Caring about it and to have it out there in the truest sense of what it is.
Right.
And so that was, it wasn't just from anybody. Having that feedback from him, it's like, okay, well, let's sit with that for a minute. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's probably, this is what we do live. This is what we're bringing around. And so it feels most true to who we are.
Was that something new for you, having a producer say, you're done?
Yeah, I think, that was, our plans were loose enough to where, I guess, that was an option.
Yeah.
So next record's going to be all electronic.
Talking with Ordinary Elephant, Crystal and Pete Damore on Radio Bristol. Tell me, which came first, the relationship or the music?
The relationship. Yeah. But we met at
Through
an open
music.
mic.
Yeah.
So we were both doing music and found ourselves at this songwriter open mic down in Texas. And we didn't play together though until we played a little bit until I got the banjo though. That's when really things got pulled together and it felt like the easiest collaboration ever. So
well, when someone whips out a banjo, they're serious.
when someone stays when someone stays
after the other person orders a banjo.
So tell me, when you guys decided to hit the road in the RV and just keep traveling, was that in pursuit of music, or did that decision happen earlier?
Yeah, no, it was. We never thought we could do music professionally until we felt like we could. So when we took off and lived on the road, we were kind of in the digital nomad.
It was like a lifestyle thing. We learned about that was a thing. It was just kind of becoming a more well-known thing to be a full-time RVer. And we're like, we have to try that, right? We couldn't get it out of our head. And
I had a remote job at the time. And so
I was at a job that didn't feel sustainable and was wanting to walk, kind of pull back from. And so it all just kind of came together. Well, let's try this. We can always go back, But that allowed us to spend more time on creative things and on music. And oh, wait, this is maybe what we're supposed to be doing. So it kind of led to it, really.
All right, let's hear you perform one more song from your new self-titled album, Ordinary Elephant, Once Upon a Time. And the line that reached out and grabbed me from this song is, "The truth is not something we can choose."
Yeah, I mean, so that song, we wrote that in early 2020. We went to Australia for a tour. We had a 2-week tour in March of 2020. We went and we played one show, and then the world shut down, like, for real. And so we went there and back in 5 days and got home, and we're just trying to, process everything. And this song we're about to play kind of came out of that processing, and just, just how there was so much information, conflicting information, and it just felt like, okay, there's truth there, and none of us can choose it. It's there, and we just need to all find it.
Tell me that story again, darling. The one where we all end up alright. Tell me that story again, darling. Wasn't it true once upon a time? Wasn't it true once upon a time? I'll keep keeping up with the laundry. You keep keeping up with the car. I guess things aren't really changing here. Sure feels like they are. Sure feels like they are. We got good dogs, we got a good porch. Got eyes to see, we've got a good view. Got ears to hear, and we are listening. The truth is not something we can choose. The truth is not something we can choose. Tell me that story again, darling. The one where we all end up alright. Tell me that story again, darling. Wasn't it true once upon a time? Wasn't it true once upon a time? Wasn't it true? Wasn't it true once upon a time? Wasn't it true? Wasn't it true once upon a time? Wasn't it true? Tell me that story again, darling. time.